Hey everybody, exciting day today. Some of you might know, but Thrice is my favorite band. The name of this channel is derived from a Thrice album called Beggars. And, this band, I've just been following them since the Identity Crisis days, and I think they're incredible. Just to see the evolution of their sound from that heavy sort of teen angsty, skate punk to post-hardcore to, the experimentalism on Visu. This band has done it all, and they managed to do it in a way that it just sounds like a natural evolution to me. The only thing that, Palms was kind of like a little bit of a slight little misstep. I mean, there was some good songs in Palms, don't get me wrong. But then they dropped the Deeper Wells EP, and I was like, well, they shouldn't have cut these songs because these songs are incredible. I loved the Deeper Wells EP, and I've been hanging out for new Thrice for so long, as many of you have. And when they announced Horizons East dropped Scavengers, thought it was a phenomenal track. Great return to form for them. On the track list, I remember seeing Robot Soft Exorcism, and the title caught my caught my attention just because of how interestingly named the track is. And maybe there's a story, I don't know. But anyway, Robot Soft Exorcism. Got like a soft cell, tainted love sort of vibe. Looking down through armored glass above a field of fire and ash from this height, it's hard to even tell. Straight up, paused 18 seconds in, but straight up, Radiohead vibes, massive. This is the most Radiohead sounding thing I've ever heard. This just sounds like Kid A. What it's like outside the suit, the terror and the torn up roots, the lives you've helped to make a living hell. But there's another way. Wow. Can I just say, the enunciation on Dustin's vocals here, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. To face the unforeseen. Oh. Figure stands erect, the shouting waves are tiny and absurd. And move back curiosity, cracking lip. Wow. Canopy and straining, you can just make out their words. I hate when people pause, but we gotta dissect this. This little chord progression here reminds me of The Window of To Be Everywhere As To Be Nowhere, which I thought was a good track. Dustin's vocals are phenomenal. Oh, there we go. Oh. Oh. That little sort of strain on the vocal there. Look, I hate it when people pause, but I mean, how can you not? This is a phenomenal song. Hear that? Oh. Oh, we got some more. Another thing here is these last two tracks have had so many proggy elements in there. They're doing it again. There's this little proggy part here. Oh. Oh. Can't stop smiling. Absolutely phenomenal. Scavengers was an awesome track. I love Scavengers. You know, I loved kind of the major minor Beggars vibe that it had on it. This right here, stating the obvious, massive Radiohead vibes. You know, the band hasn't made it a secret that Radiohead have always been one of their influences, and I think Radiohead influence really showed on the Alchemy Index concept album that they did, specifically like the Water record. But this song right here, this is the most Radiohead sounding thing I think I've ever heard them do. But it sounds like Thrice. It doesn't sound like, you know, a band ripping off Radiohead. It sounds like Thrice. This new era of Thrice on this album, after kind of everything that's happened with the pandemic and, you know, the effect that it's had, Thrice are entering a whole new sort of level here in terms of their music career. You know, in many ways, it kind of feels like sort of a reset for them, if you will. And even though they're kind of, you know, they're going back to that kind of self-produced sound, if there's one thing that you'll learn about Thrice, is that some of their best material is the material that they've produced themselves. So, you know, the Alchemy Index and whatnot. Teppy was at the helm producing, and he was still learning back then. But you can just hear that Teppy's production skills have evolved to the point where this band doesn't need another producer again. They seriously, like, they just need Teppy to produce everything from now on, because this is Thrice sounding their best. I mean, I'm a huge fan of this band, and I will go and gladly listen to anything from their back catalogue, from start to finish, from any, you know, even the earlier albums. But this is phenomenal. This really is an experience. These last two tracks, Scavengers and now Robot Soft Exorcism, absolutely phenomenal and kind of different in a way, but still you can kind of hear the underlying elements. So clearly in that progressive headspace where they're kind of exploring downtunings and different time signatures again. And when Thrice kind of go off the rails and do, you know, different time signatures and whatnot, they just produce some stellar work, really. No idea what the time signature or time signatures were in this song. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I really liked this song. I actually liked it a lot more than Scavengers, and I like Scavengers a lot. To me, Scavengers was one of the best things they've released in a very long time. That's at least caught my attention on the first listen. I mean, like, wow, you know, this is exceptional. Some Thrice material requires you to kind of listen a few times before you begin to appreciate it, and then you're like, oh, wow, this is actually really good. So Palms, for example, I wasn't the hugest fan of that album. One of the songs that actually annoyed me was Just Breathe. But then over time, as I kind of listened to that album more, Just Breathe actually became one of my favorites on that album. And then when I saw them play live, just kind of before the pandemic, and they played it live, it just made me take on a new appreciation for it, because if you ever get the chance to see Thrice live, do it. They're one of the best live bands, period. Just incredible, world-class musicians, you know, no antics. They just get on there and they just do their thing, and they sound so good. This single here, Robot Soft Exorcism, let's state one of the obvious things. Dustin's vocals, next level. You know, the raspiness you heard on Scavengers, I think some people were concerned, like, oh, you know, Dustin's voice has permanently changed, it's been damaged. There was concerns years ago that his lower register was, you know, being lost, it was damaged from years of touring and whatnot. And you hear on this track, he can still just sing beautifully. Like, there was graveliness there, but it's clear he can control the gravel in his voice. It's still always going to be there on a certain level, but when he was singing some of those parts in there, a lot of the gravel was disappearing, and there was such a clarity to his vocals. Lyrics on point. I mean, a lot of people complained about Palms and its more straightforward lyric writing approach. Besides Beyond the Pines, obviously, which was, a lot of people liked that because it was a good song and because the lyrics, people love the convoluted, sort of leave you guessing, interpretive side of Dustin when he writes, and you don't know if it's religious or spiritual, and you don't know if he wrote it inspired by a book, real life event. When Dustin keeps you guessing, that's, a lot of Thrice fans, myself included, I guess, that's the part of Thrice that we like, is when Dustin kind of, gives that complexity, and we're kind of like, what's he talking about? Oh, I think he's talking about this. And it's like, well, someone else is like, I think he's talking about this. But yeah, this track, vocals and lyrics, absolutely on point, and kind of the part of Thrice that, a lot of people fell in love with initially in the first place. Secondly, the drums. Riley, like, oh my goodness. It's Riley. Everyone in this band has leveled up in terms of their musicianship. Riley especially, you kind of heard it on To Be Everywhere Is To Be Nowhere, when he started going down that direction of trying to more get into the pocket and be a more controlled drummer, as opposed to just playing fast and, double kicks and stuff, like actual getting in the pocket and kind of, more feel-based drumming. And you kind of feel that on the last you felt that on Scavengers, and on this you can definitely feel, Riley he's just stepped it up. He's an underrated drummer. You don't see him included on drummer lists and whatnot, but he actually is an exceptional drummer. And the drum work on this, no exception. Obviously it's not an overly fast or complicated song, but he plays what he needs to play, and he does it so well. The production on the drums is phenomenal. So on Palms, that was another thing that annoyed me. The production was terrible. I think that's probably the reason why a lot of people didn't enjoy it, and maybe some didn't even realize, but the production on Palms was, honestly, it was terrible. I don't know what it was, but the drums sounded terrible. The guitar tones just weren't ideal. The bass sounded good though. I mean, the bass sounds good in the last, few albums they've dropped. That's kind of Thrice's thing, to make sure that the bass tones sound on point. But these last two tracks, the bass tone on point, the drum mix on point. The drums sound fresh and punchy. The snare in this is, I was just listening to it. I'm like, wow, the snare sounds incredible. And I was refraining myself from actually going on about the drums, because I was getting all giddy inside, like, wow, these drums are amazing. But seriously, what a bunch of top tier musicians. And I'm biased because when I name a favorite band, Thrice is my favorite band. There's one band I can only listen to for the rest of my life. It's Thrice. I've spent thousands of dollars collecting Thrice merchandise, and I've actually got a whole collection of vinyl in the cupboard of Thrice that I bought over the years. I've just spent a few hundred on the latest vinyl drops that they just did. And ironically, because I'm in Australia, I pay like $50 shipping straight off the bat. So I was out of pocket when they announced this new album. But I just want to support this band, my favorite band. When I got married, we got married to a Dustin song. Not a Thrice song, but my wife and I love this band equally as much. And we got married to a Dustin song. So this band means a lot to us. My son's name is Daedalus. We actually named him inspired by the song Daedalus that Thrice did. But we also kind of liked the story behind it in Greek mythology around the name Daedalus, and no one else has named the kid Daedalus, funnily enough. So it kind of stands out when we put his name down or anything, and people always ask about it. But really, it was inspired by the Thrice song. That's kind of what made us name our son Daedalus. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling here away from the song, but this band means a lot. And these last two tracks, Thrice are back. They are honestly back. Like, I feel like they never lost it. They just needed to spread their wings like they do, because they kind of don't do the same thing over and over again. And that's what you'll learn to love about this band, is you can go listen to their back catalogue, and everything's different. They have something for everyone. So yeah, if you're new to this band, I recommend just don't even start from the start. Just start from wherever and just kind of work your way through, shuffle all the albums, do whatever. But this track, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I like this so much more than Scavengers, and I'm really looking forward to the album, which, got a whole ton of vinyls arriving, as well as a digital copy. So yeah, bring on September, baby. Let's bring it on. We're gonna end the video here because it's getting kind of long. But yeah, I loved this, and I'd love to know what you think as well. So let me know in the comments, and until next time,